Now, I'm not a contractor, but I know this. When you build something, nothing's more important than the foundation. A weak foundation just leads to an unstable structure. In the book of Matthew, we see Jesus says, "Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And when the rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat on that house, it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them is going to be like a foolish man who built his house on sand. And when the rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat against that house, it fell, and great was that fall." You know, for so many years in my life, my foundation was built on what I could control, on what I could produce. My foundation was all dependent on me. It was dependent on if I worked hard enough, if I looked good enough, if I was smart enough, if I was wise enough, if I was earning enough, and I'd gain that approval and acceptance I so desperately needed. The only problem was I didn't always like myself. And if I didn't like myself, why would I expect others to like me, to approve of me, to accept me? You know, many who are like me, we can find ourselves lost and unsure at critical moments in our lives, not fully knowing ourselves and not feeling that we're actually loved. But knowing God is to know love. And I had to come to a very challenging place in order to understand this fully. Knowing God is a fundamental principle of a spiritual life. But pursuing God and deepening your relationship with Him, well, that's the lifeblood to sustaining that life, to continuing on with it. So you and I, we were created not only to know God, but to be in relationship with Him. That's the foundation to a strong and purposeful life, which you can build your life on. Simply put, knowing God comes from spending time with God. Any relationship, intimacy does not come without intentionality. You have to be intentional about growing the relationship. So if we desire to live a strong, purpose-driven life, we must first have that deep relationship with God. It's the only way to access the strength you'll need to face the deepest trials that life will offer. It'll give you the physical strength to stand and fight when you face a difficult medical diagnosis one day. The mental strength to speak back against that self-defeating line that keeps running on repeat in your mind. The emotional strength to continue to show your spouse love when they're not showing you any. And most importantly, that spiritual strength to stand strong in the face of temptation and testing. And guys, that's my prayer for you today, that you would find your foundation in that which gives life. That is what's sustainable. That is what will stay with you through the storms, through the rains, through the floods, through the blowing winds. The foundation and the rock that will always, always keep you grounded. If today's message spoke to you, share it. Share the love of Christ with others. And keep coming back day in and day out to get your cup filled, because I love you, God loves you, and we both want you blessed.